Yo, what's going on, guys? And today we gotta do that Indiana Pacers off-season priorities. If you guys haven't been following along, Indiana Pacers were eliminated by the Boston Celtics, and this is a pivotal off-season as they look forward to becoming, I guess, contenders perennially. So right now, the team, if we had to look at it, Tyrese Haliburton, Andrew Nembhard, Benedict Mathurin, Aaron Nesmith, Miles Turner, Ben Shepherd, Isaiah Jackson, Jarris Walker, Kendall Brown, and TJ McConnell are all expected to be on the roster next year. Now, the rest of the roster, I think, is definitely going to be interesting to see how it comes together, as I'm a big fan of what they've done here. I think this is a good organization, and I think there's a lot that can be done to improve what this team is looking for. So after rebuilding or retooling, really, and bringing in Pascal Siakam, as expected, Siakam made the Pacers better, and he's expected to return. But what is this team going to do as they enter Tyrese Haliburton's prime seasons? With this Knicks series, not the Knicks series, but with the Celtics series being a good showing of how far they are from being at the same level of the Boston Celtics. So what is the roster looking like? Tyrese Haliburton has been tied into a max value extension prior to the start of last season. Aaron Nesmith has signed one of his own for a flat rate of $11 million annually, while Miles Turner signed a rare renegotiation extension in January 2023. So the three big pieces are tied long term. Then you expect that you're going to bring back Pascal Siakam on a near max deal. You got Jarris Walker, Benedict Mathurin, Ben Shepherd, and Isaiah Jackson all on rookie deals still. Isaiah Jackson, I believe, becomes extension eligible. So obviously Siakam, their leading scorer, all-star forward, and their big mid-season acquisition, who raised both their floor and ceiling, is hitting unrestricted free agency barring an extension. He's going to be, if he does hit free agency for some reason, he would be the best player or one of the best players in a weak free agency market. And the expiring deal of Doug McDermott could give them additional cap salary filler moves. So because Siakam's expiring contract, the Pacers have a good amount of freedom to operate under the two tax aprons and the luxury tax. So assuming once Siakam's presumed max value contracts is on the books, it seemingly is going to be that he's going to be a guy that is probably going to put him close to the luxury tax or just over it, and they'll operate in that mid-range area. And for them, they can use their exceptions without the fear of reprisal and keep who they want to keep. So it's not a bad situation where they're at. I think the biggest thing is when you look at this, I think Pascal Siakam gets a deal more similar to Fred VanVleet's 2+1 than a full-on max. So you got Pascal Siakam. He's technically 30 years old. I'm not going to tell you guys some information I might know. Just know that Pascal might be a little older than he actually is, and they're probably going to give him a short-term max instead of a long-term max. Now, the next thing is the Raptors did not go out and get other big moves, and the Raptors did not go out and do any other big moves when they traded Pascal. So the whole thought process that when the Pacers traded for Pascal is that the Pacers are like, all right, we're willing to pay you what the Raptors weren't. So the Pacers now, they also have Obi Toppin, who he was just 2 second-round picks, and he had a career year this season, started 28 games, played in all 82. He averaged the first double-digit scoring average of his career, shot a career best 40%. So in doing so, I think really when you look at the situation here with the Pacers and Obi Toppin, he's a 26-year-old, 6'9", multi-positional floor stretcher who he can't play small ball 5, and he's not really a 3. but he kind of can. He's like weird, and he's a freak athlete, but he's not a great defender. He has cinder block feet, as he has prone of Latsman, questionable judgment on both ends of the floor. I don't think they're pressed to bring him back, but if they could bring him back cheaply, it could be used. Also, Doug McDermott is a guy who's an unrestricted free agent. He's a guy that I said earlier they could use him as salary filler. What I meant was he was just a guy that they got kind of in a deal through Buddy Hield as part of salary filler. So sorry for misspeaking there. I just realized that. But Doug McDermott would be a guy that I would bring back. They seemingly liked him, and we all know Doug McDermott at this point. I think a minimum salary seems more fitting and reflects both his position deep down the bench and him in his advanced years. Then again, considering the premium placed on shooting, he may earn the mid-level exception, which is around $5 million elsewhere on the market from another team. Now, Jalen Smith might accept his player option because he might not get as much money staying in Indiana, but similar to Obi Toppin, Smith's arrival was kind of like a reclamation project, and he just finished the second year of that 3-year, $15 million deal, and he put up 9.9 points per game, but he was squeezed out of the lineup in favor of being, having more transition. The thing with him is that he's a tweener. He's more of a stretch 5, but he's kind of in the body before. And he's not an elite rim protector, so I think he's someone that's likely to be moved on if he does accept the player option. And if he accepts the player option, it's because he's hearing that he's probably not going to get that much on the open market. Now, I think somebody gives him the money. Now, Isaiah Jackson's entering the 4th year of his rookie scale contract. He put up 6.5 points, 4 rebounds, and a block game in only 13 minutes. But he's great at rim running, shot blocking, and it seems like they rather go with Jackson than Smith. He just fits the team better. So they want to just put it, I'd say, together now. Like, get him his extension done now cheaper than if they wait down the road, in my opinion. But if you look at this, their roster has 11 players, one with a player option being Jalen Smith, so they technically could have 12 players. They have their two-way guys. None are guaranteed to be brought back as they weren't on multi-year, so they're probably going to be brought back, but as of right now, none are being currently retained on multi-year two-ways. They have guaranteed salaries of 105, about 2.1 in unguaranteed total salaries of 107 million. So their salary cap space, arguably, they're going to have a bunch of you could argue after they spend about 34 to 40 million on Pascal, they're going to be above the salary cap floor, and then the luxury tax, they're $55 million away from it, so they have extreme plentiful amount of money to use. They'll also have the 12.8 non-taxpayer mid-level exception to use, or the biennial $4.6 million exception, and they technically have $150,000 from the Buddy Hield trade exception that they can use. So over here, you could say that Tyrese Halliburton, Miles Turner, Aaron Nesmith being locked up is huge. TJ McConnell's locked up. He's extension eligible. Benedict Mathurin has a team option. So does Jarris Walker. They could also re-sign Jalen Smith if he opts in. He becomes extension eligible after July 6th. IJS Jackson is extension eligible. Ben Shepard has team options. Kendall Brown, his salary is fully unguaranteed and becomes $250,000 guaranteed if he's not waived on or before opening night, and thereafter he has no other guarantees. There's a team option though for next year, and even with the team option, that deal is fully guaranteed and has similar provisions that if he makes the opening night roster, it's like $271,000 guaranteed only. Andrew Nemord becomes extension eligible July 22nd. Expect him to be extended Pascal Siakam is extension eligible until June 30th, so they can extend him up until June 30th. Same thing with Doug McDermott. And then Obi Toppin has full bird rights, so they could keep him. And James Johnson has early bird rights. By the way, Oscar Schwebe, the Gilbert Arenas clause does apply to him. And they'll probably bring Schwebe, Isaiah Wong back. I don't know if they bring back Quinn Jackson, but Isaiah Wong and Schwebe are definitely back. I expect them to draft a guy like Enrique Freeman in the second round. In the first, I don't think they have first this year. Do they? Pacers picks. Let's just keep. I don't think they do. Pacers draft picks. Let's see. Future draft picks. They only have the second rounds this year. Yeah, that's what I said. So Enrique Freeman's one of their second round picks. I'm calling that. That's it from me, guys. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you guys made it to the end of the video, hit that like and subscribe. But I love you, every one of you. Goodbye.